welcome to another surprise video of Factorio. I am Deozaan, and I finished off the last video kind of in a hurry, and I realized after the fact that I just sort of ended it when the game doesn't end just because you launch a rocket. And also wanted to talk about a few of the other aspects of the game that I just didn't cover in this playthrough, so that people who may have only seen my videos as an introduction to Factorio would realize that there's a lot more to the game than what I showed. So first of all, I want to talk about what you can do after you launch a rocket. Every time you launch a rocket, you get 1,000 space science packs, which you can then use in research for, in research, but it's infinite research. So you can see from 16 to infinity, you can keep researching this, and you'll keep getting the bonuses. And it just keeps going higher and higher and higher forever, as long as you want to keep going. But each time it gets a little more expensive. I think it just goes up by 100 each time. So if you enjoy the game, you are having fun just building, and you don't really care that you launched a rocket, and you just want to make bigger, better, more massive factories, you can keep doing that. And you can get your miners to be more efficient so they get more ore, or another aspect of the game that I didn't cover. I mean, there's a lot of research here that I didn't get, like laser turrets. A lot of what I didn't do has to do with military, because I disabled the aliens in this game. There's a lot of the game normally where you have to defend your factories from the aliens, and you have to build walls and defense turrets, and you can build tanks, and you can build, well, let's look. You can build laser turrets, you can build little robots that follow you around and defend you or attack the enemies. They only last for a little while, and then they disappear, so they're not quite the same as the logistics and the construction robots. You make little consumable capsules that the robots come out of, and then, as you can see, this robot has a lifetime of 45 seconds, and then it disappears. So I don't really like them, but I don't really enjoy the combat aspect of the game personally, so that's why I disabled it in this game. But a lot of people really like that, and so these are probably really helpful in fighting off the biters. Like I said, you can make tanks. With the tanks you can get cannon shells, and I think you can even do uranium. I guess it's just the nuke. You can have an atomic bomb that you launch and blast them. I didn't even know about those existed in the game. Cluster grenades, there's a bunch of military stuff. And so, like I said, a big aspect of the game with normal settings is building your defense as the biters become more powerful, and they spread out more, and so you start getting attacked more and more and more. And another thing that I disabled in this game, another aspect of it that goes hand in hand with the biters, is pollution. Because I disabled the biters, I disabled pollution too, because pollution plays a big role in the game as far as your factory grows and outputs more pollution, it will spread on the map, and as it spreads out, to areas maybe even in the black over here, where there are biter nests, whenever there's pollution, they will come and attack just the nearest thing they can find that's causing pollution. And so as your factory grows and generates more pollution, you have to really build up a lot of defenses. Like here would be a good choke point to have, build a wall here with turrets, so that any biters coming this way, they would have to break through the wall. But it would be a lot harder to defend this. I mean, you could just build a really wide wall if you wanted. But the point is, there's quite a bit more as far as the depth of this game, and the biters, and the military, and the combat. There are also, I started to, actually I never did get into some more compact designs. Like all of these green chips, they're making two, not even two, belts full of green chips. Well, all of these green chips can be condensed down to just a few. Let's see, where is it? I'll show you from my compact designs blueprint real quick. Compact green chips. Well, I'm not really planning on keeping this base, or playing much more after I'm finished recording this. So I will just tear down this really quick, just to show you. Okay, so let's see, this needs to be copper. This needs to be iron. And then this will be green chips. And then they'll just be making them so fast once they get going that this is almost a full belt all by itself. Just 1, 2, 3, 4 of these things, instead of, however many that is. Making 2 belts, I could just make 2 of these and have 2 belts. And in fact, if I scoot this over a little, like this, I can kind of recycle, or rather share, these beacons so that they work on both left and right side. So let's see, it was copper here, iron here. I'm actually going to do this. Yeah. And I'm just doing this really sloppy just because I'm just building this real quick to show you. Not really intending it to be permanent. Just trying to plug it back into where it was earlier. There we go. Anyway, so now we have 2 full belts of green chips, almost full, in this tiny amount of space compared to these huge lines. And so when you start getting really compact designs, you can start getting a lot more efficient in the space you're taking, and if you use up the same amount of space as you used to, your production can just
go through the roof, just be incredibly high. And so you can make, mega factory, and you start making things so quickly that using belts to get the goods in there aren't fast enough. And so then you have, like what I did here with a copper outpost. The only purpose of all this is to get the copper ore, and then a train comes by and delivers it back to the base. Well, you end up having outposts for different aspects of your factory. Like, you might have an outpost that only makes green chips, and so you have trains delivering the already made copper plates and the iron plates, and they just come and they drop them off for a bunch of these types of setups, and then the green chips get loaded onto trains, and then the trains go and deliver them where they're needed somewhere else, so that you don't have all of these belts full of things going down this whole line. You kind of get rid of the bus concept, and you move on to trains delivering everything and build everything where it's needed, and you don't have any extras. So there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot that can be done after you launch a rocket. That's it. It used to be that was kind of the end of the game, and that was the end goal, but they have changed it so you can continue playing, and like there's more to do. You could always continue playing after you launched a rocket, but now there's actually things to do. There's a purpose to launching the rocket. It gives you the research, or the science packs, I should say, which I can unload into here. And normally, I might load those up on a belt and have them. When I built my rocket, I did that kind of in a rush, and I did that messy anyway, but I would probably do it a lot differently if I was planning to play a long time after I launched the rocket. And in fact, that's why I set this up, was so that I could request the space science and have this load up science. I'll just research one of these real quick. Well, I'll start researching one of these real quick. And assuming I'm in the network, which it looks like I am, the robots should start coming into delivering, and then the science production will keep going. So you could build a huge science center. You could build a really big factory that's producing tons and tons of all of the raw materials needed for, well, I guess not raw, but the processed materials needed for making rockets and launching rockets, so that you can get this space science being made really quickly. Set up proper production lines for each of these ingredients, and launch a rocket every minute or two. If you really wanted to build it that big, you could set up multiple rocket silos so that you're launching multiple rockets per minute and getting tons and tons of these science packs. So there's a lot to do in the game. A lot of fun things to tweak and test and play around. And there's also something I didn't really get into much in this game, and that's also because I haven't really dealt with it at all in any game. But that is, did I do it here? Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. Maybe. Let's see here. So, yeah. So this game has some kind of programming you can do, where you can set up deciders and arithmetic and
I don't know. You can do kind of like how in Minecraft you can use the different kinds of blocks and the gates to basically make programs in the game. You can do similar things in this game where you set up the wiring and the logic circuits and things, and change the lights and things like that. In fact, one thing that I have done in one of my other games is I got a blueprint from the internet. Whoops. For I don't know if I have it in here, but I got a blueprint that allows you to set up some gates over the rails and some walls around them, so that when a train is coming on the tracks, it would have a gate on each side of the track, on each side of both tracks, and then if a train was coming, it would close the gate so you couldn't walk through it. That way you wouldn't accidentally run onto the tracks as a train was coming and get killed. And so it would automatically open and close as trains come. Or there was another version where the gates would go this way, and it would automatically open and close the gates to prevent the trains from coming if you were on the track. And so there's a lot of things you can code in the game to make it behave a little smarter, and you can power certain things selectively if certain conditions are met. Or there's a tons of things. There's a lot of this game has a lot of depth, and there's so much you can do. It's pretty crazy how much there is to do in this game, which is why in this game, if you saw on the starter screen, I don't know if I can bring it up, but or not on the starter screen, but when I first started this video, it showed the screen. Actually, I don't think I was recording it. Anyway, at the end of the last video, when I had won and it showed me, the game is finished or whatever, it said I'd been playing this map for about 35 hours. And, there's so much I haven't done on just this save. There's so much more that I could do, or that I would have had to do if I had the biters enabled and I had to do combat, and if I wanted to build this up properly so that these parts were being built a little more efficiently. There's just so much to this game. It's really fun. It can be a time sink. It's like, oh, I'll just play it real quick for a little bit before bed, and then before you know it, it's 3, 4, 5 a.m. And there's just always one more thing to do, and so it keeps you playing, and time passes without even realizing it. In fact, this video, I was expecting this to be just a short 5-minute video where I say, hey, you can do a couple more things, and I've been going on for almost 20 minutes already. So that's pretty much all I want to talk about, I guess. I could say more. I could keep going. I could keep playing. It's fun. I wasn't really planning on playing this map more after I finished the last video, but I realized there's so much more to the game, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. And if this looks like something you would enjoy, I highly recommend you try it out. It's still actually not finished. It's kind of in early access or whatever, beta. And so I think it's going to be even better once it's finished, but I have had so much fun. I have put literally hundreds of hours into this game since I first got it around, I think it was about December 2016, and it's almost October 2017, so about 10 months, and I just played it to death. And there's so much that I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface of. And like I said when I was looking at the research, I didn't even know there were cluster grenades in the game. I don't really know how I missed that. I don't know if they're kind of new and I just haven't been doing military since they added the feature where you could disable the biters completely, or what. But there's so much more to the game that I haven't even experienced yet. But even still, I've put hundreds of hours into the game. It's really fun. I highly recommend it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I apologize as always for all of my mistakes, my poor audio quality, just everything that is less than ideal. Oh, look, another little rocket. So I guess I'll launch it one more time, and we'll end it with that. Thank you for watching. I strongly recommend this game. It's amazing. Have fun. Wow, the rocket disappeared. I never was able to run fast enough to see that happen before. That's cool. Okay, this time it's really time to say goodbye. Thanks again. Goodbye, enjoy, or whatever. I don't know. Alright. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.